What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? To all my subscribers, newcomers, saying what's up to everybody today. All right, this was a spur of the moment video. I just had to stop the presses and come to y'all with the good news. To my subscribers and people that watch my videos regularly, all y'all know that I got this problem with Reverend Dane Calloway and his indigenous clan of TP dwellers and feather guys, right? Okay. I'll just give a little brief history for the people who might be new or whatever, right? Okay. I discovered Dane Calloway around the same time everybody else did, maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago, maybe. And he started the conversation about most black people in America now did not descend from slaves, that most of us was already here. And I was like, wow, I had never heard of this information before, right? So I began to dig into it. And I began to find that it was absolute truth in it. But the more I dug, the more I found lies mixed with truth. He'll tell truth, lie. And I outlined that in several videos, right? About my problem is he tried to disconnect black people in America totally from Africa. And that's just bogus. I could feel that in my spirit from the beginning. But I dug into it. But so much for that. That's for another video. Or it might be a dead topic. I don't know. But okay, on YouTube, I don't have enough subscribers yet to do posts on YouTube without doing a video like you can post on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. You know what I mean? I think you got to get 1,000 subscribers before you can do that. I don't have enough yet. But so Dane Calloway made a post earlier today, maybe an hour ago, and for the very first time, I totally agree with what he's saying on this post. You know what I mean? Just to show you, I ain't no hater. I'm gonna call out your information if I can see flaw in it. That's all. But I'm not a fucking hater. And this is what I'm about to read this post to you. All right. It says, I see y'all letting a lot of foreigners and their descendants pass saying nigga just because they're affiliated with rap music. Plus, you're still glorifying killing each other in your songs and wonder why things are not changing for the better. For the better for us. It starts with you. I'm just here to make you think. Okay, I screenshotted it off YouTube and I'm reading it off my computer right now, but I'm not on YouTube. And the caption over the post said, being woke is played out now because some people use that as their excuse to act like they're, and I didn't get any farther on that. And I ain't gonna speculate with what he was saying. But he said, I see y'all letting a lot of foreigners and their descendants pass with saying nigga just because they're affiliated with rap music. And I fucking totally agree. See, a lot of these guys that don't come from the same struggle that we as foundational black Americans, which is the new, and I feel like more appropriate term, we got a certain struggle. We have lived our whole lives in a fucking rattlesnake pit, especially those of us from the South. We've lived our entire lives in a rattlesnake pit of white supremacy. So we look at shit different, you know what I mean? Okay, guys from up north, like New York, it's a bigger mixture. They got a bigger immigrant mixture, whether it be the Africans, the Jamaicans, the Dominicans, the Puerto Ricans, all of them, the fucking Cubans, all of them. In New York, when they get to New York, they blend in with the population. They lose the accent. They mix more with foundational black Americans up north than they do down south. Down south, if it's enough of them, they'll stay in one spot or whatever. But up north they mix in, and you can't tell them from each other. And they grow up around us, and they pick up our ways, and they steal our swag, and then they live their entire young adult life and teenage life like masquerading as a foundation of Black America, right? And so a lot of them, entertainers and rappers, stuff like that, they blend in and they use all of the shit that they learned growing up in the hood, and they make it in rap and stuff like that, and they live their life as a black man at that time, right? But as soon as they start to get older and the rap money ain't coming in no more, and the acting money ain't coming in, all that shit start drying up, that's when you see how they really felt the whole time. A prime example, Fat Joe. Fat Joe, you know, he bigged up his little Boricua or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean, they call it, you know, his little Puerto Rican heritage. You know what I mean? He made sure you do that. But his whole style, apart from what he's saying out of his mouth, was foundational Black Americans. So when they in the life and when they young, they pretend to identify with our struggle. But look at lately, all of the little funny ass moves and shit that Fat Joe been making, all the little slick comments and shit. And okay, Hassan Campbell, he ain't no rapper or nothing like that, but he came in on the back of African Bambaataa, which is an immigrant, both of them. But you know, New York accepted them guys and embraced them so much until they felt like they can get out of pocket. They run around, nigga this, nigga that, nigga this. So I truly agree with him. You know what I mean? Just like the African immigrants. They been getting a little disrespectful lately. See, I ain't never, where I live, I haven't been around any Africans, so I don't know how they really act. Maybe one or two or whatever. I'm getting all my shit from like online, you know, regular people, you know, where you get a little peek into the psyche, right? So I never had, you know, no problem with them, no kind of dealings. I even can say I kind of looked up to Africans because, you know what I mean, because they knew where they was from, you know what I mean? Just simple, they can, you know what I'm saying, my father's father, and father. I can't do that. I can only do that to a certain point. So it was just a little heritage envy in that. But this is the point, okay. He said, plus you still glorifying killing each other in your songs and wonder why things are not changing for the better. It starts with you. And I agree with that. Okay. I did a video. When I first started YouTube, it was maybe my second or third video. And the title of it is The Systematic Degradation of Hip Hop. And it's just a casual video where I'm just sitting right here in this same spot, walking the timeline on how rap music changed, right? Me, at 50, I witnessed everything happen at a time where I was in school or running around, you know, I was kind of obsessed with it, you know what I mean? I paid a lot of attention. I noticed every little shift in the game, you know what I mean? Because I live in Georgia, right? And I had friends in the neighborhood that had family in New York, and they would go up there in the summertime, and they'll come back with all of the new shit. So I had tapes and tapes and tapes and tapes, and just used to listen to it, right? And the youth, hip hop grabbed the youth. Okay, my uncles and my father's generation, they were still on the soul, you know what I mean? The Teddy Pendergrass, and if they were a bit more progressive, they was on like the funk, like Rick James type shit like that. So hip hop came along, and it was like a line of demarcation in a generation. You had the hip hop guys, and then you had the soul guys. So the soul guys, you know, used to talk shit to the hip hop guys. We was the first generation that came up wearing sneakers. Wait, sneakers was our main footwear. You know what I mean? My uncles, just guys like a little older than me, maybe 10 years older than me, they didn't wear sneakers like that. You know, just little things like that. Okay. So in the late 80s, around the time crack took hold of the whole country, gangster rap took hold of the whole country. Before like the NWA wave, every now and then you will hear a song with some violence. Put it like this, it was more songs out about stopping violence than it was about violence at that time. And okay, crack came in. So in the hood, the only guys that had money and cars and jewelry and all of this shit was the drug dealers. Crack, I'm talking about people at the heyday of crack. If you wasn't afraid, you could blow up in 2 weeks. I mean, that's how prevalent, that's how many people smoked crack and how prevalent it was and how easy it was, right? So back then, the rappers wanted to be like the drug dealers because they wanted their cars, females, jewelry, that kind of stuff, right? The drug dealers wanted to be like the rappers because the rappers didn't have to hide their money. You know what I mean? They didn't have to worry about the authorities coming after them for the money. So it was a marriage that was made. Okay, that's one component of it. The crack component and the component of crack and rappers, crack money and rappers. Every rapper had a bunch of crack dealers around because when he do his videos, you know, he want their cars in the video. It was the money in rap at that time was small. You know what I mean? Rappers would be famous and not be rich. So you got those two elements. But at the time, rap was dominated, absolutely, totally, and completely dominated by conscious groups with conscious lyrics, with fists in the air, you know what I mean? Better yourself, all of the shit, all of the self-help shit that people sit up and preach on YouTube, it was preached to the youth in mass through rap music, right? Okay. Then along comes NWA and Too Short. Depending on where you live, or how deep you go with it, you know, you might can look back and see other triggers if you're old enough. But to me, it was NWA and Too Short. Back in the days, I had a cassette tape, and it had NWA on one side, and it had Too Short on the other side, right? Around this time, I'm in college. Perfect place to be when hip hop, and especially conscious hip hop, was thriving. I mean, just the conversations that you would have around campus is totally different from today. But man, that NWA and Too Short caught on, and people went from walking around with African medallions on and kufis and changing their names and shit to all black with the Raiders hat, like I normally have on these videos and shit, to wanting to tote guns and be gangster, and Too Short had guys running around calling females bitches out loud to their face, and they was into the music too. So you know what I mean, they would just laugh. After a while they caught on, and that is what, man, that shit was like 2 shots to the dome. Crack and gangster rap and money mixed in at the same time. And a lot of people will say, yeah, you know, everybody was doing gangster rap because that's what was selling. Ain't nobody want to hear all that conscious preachy shit no more. Such. That is not the case. Take it from somebody that lived through it. That is not the case. See, this is what happened. The record companies at first, when 2 Live Crew, well, you know, all of the sexual rap, like the Too Short style sexual rap, was already coming out of Florida and a little bit out of Atlanta with, you know what I mean, groups like 2 Live Crew. 2 Live Crew was just the one that made it national. It was a lot of them, but like it was real fast. You know what I mean? We used to call it booty shake music. It was real fast, and it didn't catch on nationwide. You know what I mean? You had to be from the South to really feel it. So that's what first put explicit rap on the radar, and they immediately moved to ban it. Black clergy and just like conservatives in government, they moved on it to ban it. They had a big trial. They tried to ban 2 Live Crew. 2 Live Crew won the trial. That they couldn't censor them. That they just had to put a warning on the CD, and that opened the floodgates. And all of the music that came out. See, we didn't choose gangster rap over conscious rap. The record companies chose gangster artists over conscious artists. So some of these really talented guys that was coming up and trying to break into rap, they felt like they wasn't gonna get on with no conscious lyrics. They had to do what the trend was, and that's the only kind of acts that people were signing. So now you got all your best rappers doing gangster rap, and it took the whole scene down with it. After that point, who was it? It's a Jay-Z song. I don't know which song it is, but he be like, I used to want to rhyme like common sense. Then I sold 5 mil. I ain't been rapping like common sense. And that is the story for a lot of rappers. And ever since then, it's getting progressively worse. One generation got to out-gangster the next generation to the point where it is now. I don't even see where it can go for now. Now, being a rapper, like trying to be in that gangster lane in rap music today, man, you need a fucking army tank, bulletproof this, bulletproof that. It's almost like when a rapper get killed these days, it don't even really make the news. It's so common, man, and it's terrible. So I just wanted to make this little short video. This wasn't the first time I made a video without doing a chop up in a while. And I want to give a big shout out to Dane Calloway for this post. This is very, very relevant, what he's saying, right? What can we do about it? If music can lead the society down, it can lead it back up. Let's get back into some consciousness. They did the same thing with reggae. Years they might have got the blueprint from the reggae industry, because in the 70s, when the reggae industry really took off, it was dominated by Bob Marley and groups like that. Pure, straight up consciousness, every single song. Then later on, with the dance hall artists came out, and they sped it up a little bit, and they hit him with this guy. He was an albino with dreads, and his name was Yellow Man. He looked real crazy, and all his lyrics were explicit sex lyrics and gun lyrics, and the dance hall went to hell right along with them. Saying, I wonder, they might have got the blueprint for that, but it's just something, to think about. And like I always say at this time, this your boy Bless the Best, your host. Till the next post.